For Reaper Metal Productions, I am Adam of Unbaptized Records, here to make a brand new video for you today. Today is video number 4 of my tape collection. So I stopped off with my Crucified Mortals and my Electrocutioner tapes, along with Evoke, which was a album I do not remember buying, and realize now that it was kind of out of order because I do still have a few bands that technically go before. But that's okay, because I think it was probably a tape I was going to maybe trade or put into the sell pile. So maybe that's how it ended up slightly out of order. I do technically have 2 bands that start with D, because again, I'm going in alphabetical order. These were tapes I was going to get rid of, but I might give them another try. And this is the black metal band Denial of God, which I believe this is Horror in the Eyes of Satan. Doesn't have it written in English on the front, but I'm pretty sure that was the album from what I remember. It's on the yellow tape here. I just remember listening to the CD version of this. Didn't really care for it. I don't really like longer songs. It was sort of longer, slower, drawn-out black metal versus the more blasting stuff that I'm used to. It's not terrible. It's definitely not something I'm going to be jamming all the time. But for now, I'm going to keep it on my list because the person who I thought maybe would want it, I guess, doesn't, which is fine because they're not a big tape collector and they own many copies. So maybe if in the future anyone wants Denial of God on tape, let me know. I could either trade or do it as a giveaway, or just, maybe if someone buys a bunch of records from me, if I end up selling them for some reason, or if I sell a bunch of tapes, or at some point when I have my label and I have a distro, I could throw them in as a bonus. But we'll see. Maybe if I give them another chance, I'll like it more. But the other release I have is the Hollow Mass. I believe this is an EP, but I'm not entirely sure. And it's on the clearish blue or see-through blue tape, released by Hell's Headbangers. So again, this is okay. I've definitely listened to it really just probably once, thought it was okay, not really up my alley. But you know what? It's not for everybody. It's always worth checking out just in case you do end up liking something, because you never really know. All right, so the next few tapes we have most of the discography of my second favorite metal band of all time, and that is Exhumed. So these are some recent pressings. As you can see by the shine here, this one hasn't even been opened yet. So this is Exhumed Gore Metal. This is one of the first ever albums I heard by the band. If you're an Exhumed fan, there's a really good chance you like this album. I haven't listened to the remake of it, and I don't really want to because I love the original so much. It's just so raw and energetic. I love it so much. I'm not sure why Matt and Ross thought they needed to redo it. I don't think it was worth redoing at all. Kind of the same thing with Impaled, Dead Shall Dead Remain. I ended up buying the remake. I haven't heard the original, or at least I don't own it, but I can't imagine the remake is better than the original. But Exhumed is awesome. They're definitely just like one of my favorite bands. Matt Harvey's one of my favorite artists because he just shows up in so many different projects, and he has just so much good music. So if you saw one of my last videos where I showed the 10-inch records I owned, I think 3 or 4 of them are his bands. So Exhumed, Gruesome split, both of his bands, then Scarecrow, and I think another Exhumed split. So a lot of his music is stuff I like, and Gore Metal is one of the first I heard, and it's still today one of my favorites. So I have the CD, the repress LP, and the tape. And next is the next album, Slaughtercult, signed by Matt. This one is opened. This one's kind of on lame-o black. And a funny story about Slaughtercult, which I guess kind of makes me a poser, but that's okay. For whatever reason, back in the day, I missed them. I missed this album. I don't know what happened. My favorite releases were the early Dying Fetus records, first 3 really, Cow Decapitation records, and Gore Metal and Anatomy is Destiny. And somehow I missed Slaughtercult. I don't know how. As my second favorite metal band of all time, and this is one of their greatest albums. I literally just heard this a few years ago. Again, don't know how that happened. Somehow I completely missed it. I heard All Guts No Glory. I heard Necrocracy, and I'm pretty sure I even heard the one after that. I can't even think of the name of it because it's probably my least favorite. But I heard all those before I heard Slaughtercult somehow. So that was weird. Not sure how that happened. But now I own the CD, LP, and the tape. So I think hopefully all is forgiven at this point. Next, we have one of the ones I did hear back in the day, and I loved it, is Anatomy is Destiny, with their weird-ass little cover there, and Matt Harvey's signature as well. And again, these are obviously all repressed tapes. Black vinyl, sorry, black tape. So, nothing super special to see there. I will say that the CD I have of theirs is, I'm not sure if it's a double CD or not, but it has some Live in Japan, which is cool. And then obviously I'm super glad that they repressed all those LPs, because that one was particularly hard to find and particularly expensive. Oh yeah, next, okay, here we have Death Revenge. I guess I do not own All Guts, No Glory and Necrocracy on tape, but I do own this album. It's pretty cool. It still even has a little barcode sticker on the back, and it's got the black tape, so not even opened. And I do collect some tapes kind of for novelty purposes, I guess. So that's what I have. And this was actually the first tape I bought by the band. This is when this album first came out, and that's Horror. This is the tour I saw them on, 2019, with Necrot. And like I said, Gate Creeper was a little too cool for school. They were touring in New York at the time, I guess, even though they were part of the package. So they just decided not to show up to Connecticut that night, so that's fine. It's like a clear tape with like a bluish red, like almost painted on art. So pretty cool tape. And last, for Exhumed, also still with the sticker on the back, is their most recent album, To the Dead. All of these albums I also have on CD and LP. This one I have on picture disc, and it's signed by the whole band, so that's awesome. And I think this is like this is like a standard tape. Most standard ones you would get back in the day, the Maxwell tapes and everything, clear with like a black label. All right, next band. This is the only thing I have by them. This is a reissue, but I thank Justin of Hell's Headbangers for getting me aware of this band, and I believe an LP is coming out. This is a pretty hard to find band, but it's Exploding Zombies. And this is the Several Severed Heads release. And unfortunately for the band, it was kind of sad to read on here. I think it says on here that their vocalist passed away a couple years ago, which I didn't know about till getting this tape. This is definitely a more recent press of the tape, so it looks like unless they found a new vocalist, they're not going to have a newer iteration of the band. They won't be touring, which is unfortunate, but it is really good that Hell's Headbangers got in contact with the band. And they're putting out, I think, this release on either CD or LP or both, which would be fantastic because, again, tapes are fine, but I'd rather have CD and LP. All right, last three tapes. All the same band, mentioned previously, because I traded with Mark from Electrocutioner. I traded him a copy I have, and this is the band Faith Extractor. One of my favorite bands out of Ohio, definitely on my bucket list to see someday. It'd be cool to meet Ash Thomas and get him to sign like my CDs and LPs and stuff. But this is the album, The Great Shadow Infiltrator, with black tape. And next is also not even opened here. So this is their album, Raising the World of Myth. Red tape. And unopened as well. And lastly, their third album on like a clear black tape, but it's Proverbial Lambs to the Ultimate Slaughter. I also have a shirt of this album art, and their newest release is actually coming out, which is really cool. So I look forward to that. That's on Redefining Darkness. They're putting out the CD and LP, and maybe some album label will get lucky enough to put that fourth album on tape, because like I said, Redefining already has pre-orders for the CD and LP. So maybe someday in the future, I don't know, somebody will put it out on tape. So that would be cool. Hopefully it'll be Unbaptized Records. But that would definitely be a great release to have on the roster, but got to get it started. So that's all I have for this week. I will see you in the next video when I go over my fifth set of tapes. See you then.